Hi everyone, I'm Milind. I am the new robotics engineer at Clearbot. So working at Clearbot was the first time that I actually worked in a big-ish team of engineers. Prior to that, all of my work was on an individual level. So collaborating with a team, completely new thing to me, and I learned a lot about how in a team you have to trust each other basically, and that was something that was completely new to me. Also being able to take responsibility for like engineering decisions that you make. So if I'm ever stuck and I'm trying to pick between two different ways to make a certain product like decision, then being able to just take the responsibility for making that decision yourself instead of always relying on someone else to help you with that. And lastly, just because it's a team, you have people who know a lot more than you, who you can ask for help if you really need it. So Clearbot was the only company at the time that I found that was going to let me as an intern do hands-on engineering work. And honestly, even 2 years later, like that part has remained the same. And I love that. Like there's nothing like as an engineer doing actual engineering work. And also just like Clearbot's a fast-paced company, they go from one product to the next and it's always in a phase of R&D. And that's really fun. Like you get to actually work on new problems regularly and figure them out on your own. It's not just boring desk work. So that was a huge part of the decision for me to come back to Clearbot. And also the team is amazing. Back then it was 4 of us, I think 4 or 5 of us in total. And even though now the team has grown to about 4 times that size or 5 times that size, it still has maintained that like sort of feeling of like a close-knit team that's like working towards like a mission, like everyone's excited and passionate about what they do, and that's like it's a contagious feeling. Like I really feel like coming into work every day. If you are an engineer, put some engineering projects on your portfolio. If you're in marketing, do some marketing projects and put them on your portfolio, because Clearbot's all about like actually being able to do the work. So even if you're not an engineer and you want to work in engineering and you have the skills to do it, as long as you have a portfolio or something to show for that, you could totally get a job here. Right. So when I worked at Clearbot 2 years ago, we were working on an early prototype of our autonomous navigation system. And at the time, our test rig was basically a boogie board with our electronics strapped on and 2 thrusters strapped on at the back. And it was my job to sort of test out our system and see whether it works the way we want it to. So when I worked at Clearbot, some of the software that I wrote was pertaining to some underwater, quality sensors, water quality sensors, as well as the autonomous navigation system that Clearbot still uses. And it makes me quite proud to see that, like, even today, like if I'm going through the software, the code base, I can still see like parts of the software that I wrote back then integrated into the system today. And I think that would definitely be one of my biggest achievements, like some of the things that I helped to solve back then, you can still see that it helped even in the Clearbot that exists today. So the original Clearbot Neo that we made 2 years ago, when we were testing out its buoyancy, we weren't sure about how much weight this thing could carry. So guess how we tested it? We put 2 of our engineers on it, we sat on it, and we drove that thing around. And it passed with flying colors.